Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Ukrainians Talk live stream. This is the series of interviews with citizens of Ukraine about their work, their passion, their volunteering experience, reflections on the war, and future plans. Ukrainians talk about what they know, do, see, and feel. And today I have a wonderful speaker, Timur Berezhnoy. Timur, welcome.
Hi, guys.
Timur is actually a voice and public speaking coach, and he has numerous, I would say, things that he does through the public speaking. So I would probably start this interview with a small introduction. Timur, explain us, what do you do, why you do this?
Well, I teach people how to speak in a beautiful and articulate way. I teach voice training, public speaking, speaking on camera. And why do I do this? Because it's my passion, because I like this and I like helping people.
Super. You are public speaking champion, first DTM. First, I would like you to explain what is DTM for our speakers, and then explain why do you try to get through the public speaking, participate in different contests, and why do you love public speaking in general?
First of all, what is DTM? DTM is from Toastmasters International System. It's a public speaking system which is worldwide, which unites people from all over the world who would like to practice speaking in public and developing their communication and leadership skills. And there are public speaking contests that are conducted in this system. They are of different levels. So I won the contest, which was between 7 countries of Eastern Europe. It was a humorous contest, and they did it a couple of years ago. And why? What was the second question? Sorry.
Why do you like public speaking?
Well, to tell the truth, maybe it's because it was some compensation initially. When I was young, I wasn't very popular at my school. I wasn't alpha male in my class. So I wanted attention to myself. I wanted people to recognize me, to listen to me. It was ideal when I talk and everyone listens. That's why I liked public speaking, even though when I first came to a public speaking club, it was Toastmasters Club. I didn't come with the intention to practice public speaking. I came with the intention to practice English because it was an English speaking club too. It was public speaking in English. And nevertheless, I liked it so much, the whole structure, the way people perform, the way people speak in front of the whole audience, that I stayed there and I started practicing. I started my learning procedure in that club, and I became a better speaker. I hope. I think
Well,
so.
I'm sure you are. From what I heard your speeches, it's a wonderful speeches and a great level to actually look at you and follow just your practice and your experience. I know that you have been or still are an actor or a singer. How does that combine with public speaking?
Yes, I have acting and singing education. I graduated from Kiev Conservatory. It's called officially Kiev National Musical Academy by Peter Ilyich Tchaikovsky. And my profession, according to my diploma, is musical theater artist, which means I should be able to sing like an opera singer, like oh, all of this. I should be able to act like a like a drama actor, and I should be able to even to dance, almost like a professional dancer, which is probably the most difficult part for me. Still, I have this diploma, and I tried myself on stage. First, even before the conservatory, it was amateur theater, also in English, also founded by Toastmasters members. Then there were some other amateur theaters, and then there were semi-professional and professional theaters. After my graduation, I tried myself in this profession. I tried myself in the cinema too. But I came to a conclusion that teaching is my calling, and teaching is what gives me most results in my life, what I do maybe best, and where I'm most helpful for the surrounding people.
So tell us what you teach and what do you like the most in this teaching?
I like most, as any coach might say, I like my results, like when a person comes and he says, I don't like my voice, I don't like how it sounds. We make a recording of his voice before and after he listens to his recording, he compares these two recordings. He says, wow, I didn't know I could sound like this, even after 1 hour. Then we make a course. He passes a course which strengthens this result for the rest of his life. And I like helping people. I like reviews. When people write me things, even without my asking them to write, they write, I have this success, I have that success. For example, one girl wrote me, it's tremendous. I conducted, um, it was like a show, it was some event. I conducted an event for 1,000 people. It's great. I would have never done this without your help. It's all because of the skills I acquired while studying with you. That's great. So I adore such reviews, and I adore really seeing the result that I helped someone achieve more in their lives.
Super. I wonder, with the events and the war in Ukraine, how this sphere of learning and teaching public speaking changed from your feeling. What is now going on with public speaking, with all these courses and your business as a coach, a voice coach?
Well, unfortunately, we can't help mentioning this tragic situation in our country that war is going on. Russia attacked our country, and we are fighting to protect our independence now. Still, for the first months, I thought the business would collapse at all. Like nobody needs public speaking anymore. People just need to survive. But after a month, maybe in the end of March, even in April, people started writing and started asking, could you help me with public speaking? So now I also have clients. I have 5 clients at the moment, individual clients. I also had a group before, it was a group class. I conducted every Monday for 10 to 12 people. Now I wanted to revive this maybe a week ago and wanted to make it a charity event with most profit, with the whole actually profit going to help Ukrainian army. But I encountered the situation that people are not ready maybe to meet offline still, and with all this air alerts, with all these inconveniences with public transport. Sometimes, for example, you can't catch a metro in the left bank of Kiev and go to the right bank because of air alert. You just can't. The metro doesn't function. And with all this stuff, I didn't manage to revive my offline lessons so far, but I plan to do this in the nearest future, maybe in a couple of weeks. Still, I have individual clients online, and I'm working on having more clients from other countries, maybe English-speaking clients. Now I'm in the process of arranging this.
Super wonderful. Tell me, I know that you have a lot of hobbies, and I know that, for example, once I saw how you improvise with other people in like a theater play. What are other things that you do for yourself besides the profession of the voice coach that you have?
Well, if we take like hobby, which has no relation to my profession, for example, I assemble planes. These are small planes. Well, they are standing over there on the shelf, actually. These are models of planes that I assemble from the kit. You buy a kit, it's a plastic, but you have to assemble it with the glue. It's a special modeling glue, and then you have to paint this plane. And this plane, if you do everything right, it looks absolutely like a plane in real life. I assemble planes from World War II. My next project will be a Supermarine Spitfire, British airplane.
How many planes do you already have?
On my shelf, I have 6, but in general, I assembled about 10. 2 of them I gave as a present to my daddy, maybe because they weren't very good, but because they were good enough, but I assembled another plane of this kind, and I gave the first one to my daddy. Daddy adored them. He was very, very satisfied. And one plane I gave to another person as a present, my very first plane I assembled. And one plane just collapsed and it broke down. Like there was a plane crash, we can say.
Well, there are a lot of.
But I
There are a
managed
lot.
to
Sorry.
make a plane like this, a copy of this. Now I have it.
I would say there are a lot of plane crashes right now, but it's good if that's the planes of the enemies. Sorry for that.
Exactly. Or if it's a toy plane, right?
Or if it's a toy plane.
Yeah.
I wonder, you started to talk about the business and how you're trying to revive it, yes, since the events. How do you actually plan the future in the times of uncertainty, of a lot of people's being a lot of things being so uncertain around? How do you plan your future?
Well, when such things happen, like life-changing events for all Ukrainians now, for somebody to a more extent, for somebody to a lesser extent, but still it happens. And you have two options actually. You can panic, you can cry, you can shout, I don't know. You can be depressed, but you can't be depressed for too long, can you? And another way out is just try to live your normal life as you lived before. Try to arrange things the way maybe to the best possible result you can have in these circumstances. And a lot of people I know, they manage to do this. In Kiev, we are lucky. We are lucky because so far it's quite safe here. Quite safe because you can never feel safe if it's war and if Russia has such rockets which can fly to any direction to reach to any destination in Ukraine. Still, people are living their normal lives. They're trying to do their business. Uh, they're trying to earn money. Of course, economy is going down, and we can't help feeling the impact of it. Still, I'm looking for clients. People are looking for me. People find me too, even in this situation. I lowered the price a little bit to help people in the wartime and not to charge a too high price. And second option in my own business is to work abroad. Like we have online possibilities. That's great, and we can use it. So I can look for clients in other countries. Luckily, I know foreign languages. I speak English quite well, I think. And also, I might conduct classes in French and Italian too, I think. But so far, we focused on English.
So I guess you chose just to work further, develop your business, and try to revive whatever you could from the times before the war. And that is great to hear that you're moving on with this. I'm wondering, for us Ukrainians, a lot of things has changed. Seems to be like the routine things are just different. And my question would be, what one habit, new habit that you probably started to do during these times of the 3+ months, 100 days, and the habit that you will still be continuing to do in the future? Anything new that you have started?
Yes, I started correct nutrition. So I started taking care about what I eat more. Before the war, I ate a lot of junk food. Well, I didn't go to McDonald's every day, of course, but I wouldn't say that my nutrition was very healthy. Even taking into account, sometimes I ate too much, I overate. Now I try not to overeat. I eat only 3 times a day. And as I say, I developed a mantra for myself. I eat 3 times a day, a small quantity of healthy food. That's what I'm trying to do. And in this, I have some success. I'm already started losing some weight, which I gained in the first months of war because of stress. And I plan to continue. Also, I have a very good sports coach to whom I wanted to go. This is a man who, with whom you also should conduct an interview. I don't know if he speaks English, but this is a very interesting person who teaches healthy lifestyle in the way of physical exercises, in the way of nutrition, in the way of breathing exercises, in the way of even singing, and in which he was interested to cooperate with me in some way. And I met this person. I met him live, so I met him in person today. That's why I was slightly late to the interview because I met him and I was his patient, we can say. So he conducted some manipulations with me, and it's really cool what he does. And this man, he lives actually in Berdansk, which is now occupied. And going to Berdansk was too difficult for me for over a year that I followed him on Facebook. But now I found out he's in Kiev, and I said, well, it's too bad it's war, and too bad such circumstances made him come here, but it's so good that I can visit him in person and meet him.
Interesting. I would like to have that contact, and maybe we'll conduct an interview. I also noticed that you have started to do a lot of communication in Ukrainian, though I would perceive you a Russian speaker before. Can you tell a bit more about this experience of switching the primary language of your communication?
Well, yes. Experience. I speak Ukrainian much more than I did, and partially I write in Ukrainian. I conduct my Facebook page in Ukrainian mostly now. Sometimes I write something in Russian, but in Russian I communicate mostly with people whom I knew before the war. With new people who I have just met, I try to communicate in Ukrainian. And I believe this is right because Ukrainian is the title language of our nation. So if it's Ukraine, people should speak Ukrainian. I think this would be right. On the other hand, before the war, I was a staunch Russian speaker, I should say, because I didn't support imposing Ukrainian in a harsh way on people. To make people speak Ukrainian, my opinion, and it still is that you should motivate people to speak Ukrainian, not to force them, not to forbid them speaking Russian. But taking into account that we have a crazy neighbor who wants to rescue, or at least they say so, that we are rescuing Russian-speaking people, I think even people like me who were very tough Russian speakers and who supported Russian and spoke Russian even on purpose, because I thought that Russian was in some way oppressed in Ukraine over the last years. But still now I think that we should speak Russian the least possible, because Ukraine is one story, Russia is a different story. That you speak your language and you live your life, we speak our language, we speak our life. That's why it's a good idea to switch to Ukrainian, but still I think this should be made in such a way that we see, like, he is a really cool speaker. He conducts cool master classes and he speaks Ukrainian. I want to be like him. Or speaking Ukrainian is fashionable. Speaking Ukrainian is nice. And when you meet a person who speaks Russian, you should not say, you speak Russian. You should not judge this person. You should not insult this person. You should not say, you are a bastard. You are enemy of the nation because you speak the enemy's language. In this way of thinking, we can stop speaking German and we can stop learning German, because Germany also did very many bad things to Ukraine in the course of the Second World War. This is the same logic. Maybe what we are having now, it's more acute, it's more painful because it's happening right now, right here. Still, speaking Russian should not be forbidden. People just should be motivated to speak Ukrainian, and this will be a cool story. And I will be very proud and very glad when all our nation from Kharkiv till Uzhgorod speaks Ukrainian.
Super. I feel that you took a positive motivation as a factor for you to switch to it, and I'm so glad you did. I would like to ask you, how difficult was this decision for you?
It wasn't difficult at all. It was a calling of my heart. It was my natural desire. So no tough decisions, because I still speak Russian with many people. And I know people because I conducted once a training for our warriors, Ukrainian warriors, Ukrainian army men. It was in I think it was 2020, yes, the year 2020. I conducted training for them, and I met people there who were like, how do you say this in English? Person who was a Russian speaker before from Odessa, but he now speaks Ukrainian in all life situations with all people. Like, what's that word? Principally speaking Ukrainian.
Mm-hmm.
This is cool, and I support this person. I think if it's his decision, he has a right to do this. But for me, speaking with my mom, Ukrainian, with whom I spoke Russian all my life, it's difficult. And I don't think this would be appropriate. With my dad, it's more simple. Recently, I had a conversation with my dad totally in Ukrainian, and my dad, because he feels the same, that we should speak more Ukrainian. So he gladly switches to Ukrainian when I do this, and sometimes he shows the initiative. That's why this is a cool thing, and I think we should have more events in Ukraine and more books in Ukraine, more films in Ukraine. If it's a quality films and quality events, this will motivate people to speak Ukrainian. But uh, your question was about difficulty of decision. That's the point, because decision is difficult if you're forced to do so. If it's the calling of your heart, which is dictated by your surrounding, which is dictated by your environment, by what is happening around, this will be the rightest thing. It's my opinion.
Thank you for sharing this, because a lot of speakers abroad or people abroad, they do ask about this language issue, language question. So I think it was a good explanation of what is going on. I know in Toastmasters there are a lot of people who are coming from abroad, or they were visitors of Toastmasters before in Ukraine, but a lot of people who would hear the interview have never been to Ukraine, have never witnessed or experienced anything Ukrainian. So imagine that there is a person who is approaching you and asks Timur, what would you advise to do or to see, to experience in Ukraine? What would be your advice?
In Ukraine, there are a lot of things to experience. If they want to experience something harsh, they can go to war and help us. They can become volunteers and help our army. And there are a lot of such people. There are thousands of such people who are coming from the whole world to fight for the Ukrainian army by the calling of their heart too. I think it's cool, and I root for these people, and my biggest support goes to them. If you want to be a tourist and see some famous sites, when we liberate Ukraine, you should definitely go to Crimea, because Crimea is Ukraine. And it's very beautiful there, because only in Crimea we have mountains and the sea. And you should also go to Carpathians, because war is really a terrible thing, but thanks to this war, I had a lot of insights and a lot of new experiences. For example, I experienced for myself a beautiful city in the Carpathians. It's not a city, it's a town, a beautiful little town. It's a resort, it's called Schidnica. Maybe you know it, maybe you don't. For sure, many people know Truskavets resort, but Schidnica is next to Truskavets at maybe 15 kilometers from Truskavets, and it's totally surrounded by mountains. Very beautiful nature, and this is a completely European little town in Ukraine. Like in Europe, beautiful little houses painted in different colors. Uh, with It's a resort. You have mineral water there. You have a lot of sources of mineral water all over the city, and people come to this little city town. People come to this little town to improve their health, to drink this mineral water, and you not only drink the water, you should go all over the city to collect the water you need, because the doctor prescribes you 3 different waters, and they they're in different places. So some people need to walk about 10 kilometers a day to collect all these waters, because you need to drink them right away. You can't collect the water and drink it 2 days later. You should drink it right now, maybe within 2 hours. That's why it's
So
really.
do I understand you correctly that you go to a specific stream, pick up the water in a cup, and then drink it? That's how it goes?
People pick up water in a cup. Sometimes, and most often, you need to warm up this water a bit. Sometimes you do this at home. I just collected some water in a bottle, and I brought this bottle home, and then I warmed up. So it's a beautiful little town with squirrels, with beautiful parks, with beautiful mountains where you can walk to, and it's like a paradise. And I would have never experienced such a little town if not there was war. So I definitely advise people to visit this town and other places in the Carpathians, like Sinevir Lake, like Zakarpattia, Transcarpathian, where we have castles, like Mukachevo Castle, where we have warm water resorts too. And also Kyiv, of course, the capital, Lviv, with very beautiful architecture, Chernivtsi. Any city of Ukraine, even small city, has some famous sites, has some beautiful museums, some beautiful things to see. So Ukraine is beautiful. Nature of Ukraine is beautiful. Beautiful. People can walk in our forests, breathe the fresh air, experience our fields. see our beautiful blue sky, and Ukraine is a great country. So just come here, and wherever you come, there will be something interesting to see.
Thank you. Indeed, Ukraine is really big and it has a lot of different exciting things. But I would like to ask you the following, because I think that every country is about its people. So if you would be trying to explain to a foreigner who are Ukrainians, what would you say?
For Ukrainians, one moment, I will write to the person because we need to shift our lesson a bit.
Okay. I will just, while you're writing, I will say that for me, the key probably from Ukrainians is the values that we have. And one of the values probably the freedom that we all show right now, currently in this event. But this sense of freedom is basically what makes us distinct from others, because we do everything from this value. So for you, who are Ukrainians?
Ukrainians are heroes. They are like ancient Greek heroes who were fighting with the Titans for something good, for something they believe in. Definitely. And what our recent events showed, that there is something heroic in every Ukrainian. I remember a conversation with one person. We went to martial art classes. It was maybe 8 years ago. And one person asked our coach a question. He said, Coach, imagine Romania collected 1 million army and attacked Ukraine. He said Romania because nobody would think Russia would attack us at that time, because Russia were our best friends. And he said in his universe, Romania was the aggressor. He said, what if Romania attacked Ukraine? Do you think that a lot of people would like to fight for their country? I think nobody would like to fight for their country. But what do we see now? People not only fight for their country, some people do fight. Some people become volunteers. Some people help volunteers. Some people help the refugees. Some people just donate money. Everyone, we are like a hive of bees, very laborious, good, uh, cheerful bees, who are cheerful when everything is good. But if some intruder attacks our hive, we just attack or without thinking about our life, about whatever, selflessly we attack him, this intruder, and we protect our hive. So Ukrainians are heroes, and Ukrainians are bees. Everybody's doing
that person who asked this question also understands that Romania now is greatly supporting Ukraine and do help a lot of refugees, that Ukrainian refugees that come to Romania. So it's both ways that he was mistaken about who we are, and actually that we have so great nations and people around Ukraine who actually help a lot.
He didn't want to say anything bad about Romanians, just he wanted to make an example. Imagine some neighbor of Ukraine attacks Ukraine, might be any country. So his point was that nobody would like to protect their motherland, because maybe during World War II there were different people. Now we have other kind of people. No, we proved that we are patriots and we can sacrifice ourselves to help our country withstand this situation.
Thank you for sharing this story. I would like it's really inspiring, and it does really show that today we're like those small bees doing pieces there, and it allows us all together to create a new country. So imagine that in, I don't know, 3-5 years, Ukrainian is totally different, a newly built country, much better than it even it was before, with democracy, a strong economy. What would be your role in this country? What would be your small part of this, in this heave as a bee?
Definitely I would like to live in Ukraine, because I have traveled to many countries, and in any country I felt like I wasn't at home. I was a guest. Only here, by the way, in whatever part of Ukraine, even in the western Ukraine, in the eastern Ukraine, of course, I feel most comfortable in my native city, but still, in whatever place of Ukraine, I feel myself, I'm a host here. It's my land. And in 5 years, I would like to continue what I'm doing, because I believe a lot of people need this, and a lot of people benefit from what I helped them with, public speaking and voice training, because a lot of people also want to promote themselves to the West, to other countries, and they need good speech. They need to present themselves in an articulate way, which I help with. And I would like to continue what I'm doing and living here and having my family here.
Super, indeed.
But having maybe more contacts with the Western countries, with Britain, with the USA, with Poland, who are great friends of Ukraine, like Romania and other countries.
Super. Communication is the basis of, I would say, living, working relationship, all the relationship with people. So it's great that you actually teach the essence of how to do this communication properly. I would probably not be happy if I would not ask you a small question during this interview to provide us one small tip that you would advise people to improve in their voice.
To improve their voice, well, you can do a simple sound like this. For example, if you're tired, if you are depressed, even if you're not in the best mood, this sound works very well. Like, it's humming. But if you're not satisfied that you should do this with sad expression, you can do this with happy expression, like from pleasure. This is also another variant which is appropriate. And you should relax your throat and sound with your whole body. And you should like drink the sound a little bit inside yourself, like this. Like sucking something in. And this will help you to make your voice more free, more resonant, and more beautiful.
Wow, thank you for this small tip.
I can give you one more tip. If you want loud sounds, like your voice is too soft, you're speaking with a too soft voice, and sometimes people can't hear you well. For example, if you're doing a public speech, you can do this exercise. Don't be afraid. Like, oi, 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 crying from joy.
I guess some people have to go to, I don't know, to the park or to the woods, not to scare their neighbors, because neighbors would think, oh my God, what is happening? What is happening around with this sound?
Neighbors might be surprised, but if you warn them and say, I'm just doing a voice exercise, don't be afraid, they treat this quite normal. Because I'm doing this in a residential building, in a flat, so there are people around in other flats, and they're okay with it.
Thank you. I think we will be finishing with the interview, but I would like to ask you, is there any last words that you would like to say, any last messages that you would like to share with our audience?
Sure. To our Ukrainian audience, I would like to say, believe in Ukraine, stay in Ukraine, help Ukraine, and return to Ukraine if you are refugees, because of course, it depends on where you live. If you're from Kharkiv, from Nikolaev, don't return because it's dangerous. But if you're from Kiev, from Lviv, from other cities where it's relatively safe, do return and help your country here. Or return after the war if still you think you feel safer abroad. It's your right. Absolutely, this is normal. But do return to Ukraine after the war. Don't stay abroad because our country needs you. And to our foreign friends who might be listening, since we're in English, yes, I should thank all those people, because there are millions of people all around the globe who help Ukraine with whatever, with accepting refugees, with donating money, with helping our volunteers, with being volunteers, collecting money for even people from Lithuania collected money for a Bayraktar device. And that's great. And first, I would like to thank you for supporting Ukraine and encourage you to stand with Ukraine, continue standing with Ukraine until we win this war, because we are fighting not only for ourselves, we are fighting for you too. This is a fight of good against evil, of democracy against tyranny. And if we win this war, the whole world will be more democratic with much more good, with much more human rights, with much more good things, and with real quality of life for any person. That's why help us win this war and help the good to win over the evil.
Thank you. I just want to echo your words and say indeed a big thank you to everyone who listens to our live streams. And I would like to say that this was Ukrainian talk with Timur Berezhnoy. Ukraine is beautiful, Ukraine is wonderful, and it's wonderful because of the people it has. So thank you for watching us, and we will be meeting soon in a couple of days with a new speaker. So thank you, Timur, for participating, and everyone have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.
Thank you.